Hi friends, I'm Dr. Rashmi Sequeira, consultant obstetrician and gynecologist practicing here in Santa Cruz, Mumbai. Happy Women's Day to all of you. Women's Day 2020 to Women's Day 2021. 1 year, and what a year it has been. COVID came like a tsunami into our lives, bringing personal losses to many. Our lives changed, some for the better and some for the worse. There was work from home, bonding with families, meals together, spending time on hobbies. But then there were also job losses, stress, lack of sleep, no help. Women suffered more than men very often, and their health also took a backseat. Lockdowns meant that many women were denied access to basic health care. Also, many women were afraid to venture out, ignoring their symptoms for months. We as doctors saw more cases of depression, obesity, PCO. Pregnant women were avoiding antenatal checkups, leading to far more cesarean sections and also sicker babies being born. Women who had symptoms which could have led them to an early diagnosis of cancer also delayed doctor visits for months, and we saw cases far more advanced than they should have been. Women's healthcare had gone back about 50 years. Now it's March 2021. We are definitely in a better place now. Life imposes things on you that you can't control, but you still have the choice of how you're going to live through this. Words by Celine Dion. And with this, let's move on to certain tips on how to stay healthy. The commonest health issues in women are those involving weight gain, obesity, hormonal imbalance, polycystic ovary, infertility, issues with pregnancy, and depression and mental health issues. The more serious problems that women have, especially as they age, are those of osteoporosis and cancers of the breast, the cervix, the uterus, and the ovaries. By now, of course, we are all experts on how to stay safe from COVID-19. Masking, social distancing, maintaining good hand hygiene, opting for open air spaces, well ventilated spaces, and now, of course, vaccination has become available. The best and most sustainable ways towards good health come from a combination of a balanced diet with occasional supplements, good exercise, adequate sleep, and being involved in a lot of stress-busting activities. Exercise is especially important for older women and should be a combination of aerobics, balance, flexibility, and strength training. It's also important to know what you can do for yourself and what your doctor can do for you. Self-awareness is really important, so you know which are the symptoms to ignore and which are the ones that can't wait. We as doctors recommend health screenings as a routine, even when there are no symptoms or signs of any disease. And now, I'll give you a short explanation regarding the tools and tests that doctors use to monitor your health. The commonest, of course, are the blood tests, which everybody is familiar with. Hemoglobin, sugar levels, cholesterols, thyroid status, these are commonly tested. A blood pressure check is easy and gives us a lot of information. It is also good to have a weight which is appropriate for your height. For this, we use the BMI. So what is BMI? BMI is Body Mass Index. If you look at the slide, you will see a calculation. And if you wish to calculate your BMI, just go on to Google, enter your weight, enter your height, and you will get the value. Look at the charts. They will tell you whether your BMI falls in the normal range, overweight, underweight, obese, extremely obese. This will help and guide you to try to get a better and more appropriate weight for your height, which will lead to a healthier you. A pap smear is a test which is conducted by the gynecologist. It is used for cervical cancer screening. Cells are collected using a brush from the cervix and sent to a pathologist. An HPV testing can also be done simultaneously. This is used for the detection of cancer of the cervix, as I said before. A mammography is a test which is conducted in a diagnostic center using a specialized machine. It is used for the detection of breast cancers. A mammography can help detect a breast cancer up to 3 years before a patient can even feel a lump. It uses low-dose X-rays, and the breast is held between 2 paddles and an image is taken. Bone mineral density testing is an important screening tool for osteoporosis. It is carried out at a diagnostic center using specialized machines. Osteoporosis is a condition which is characterized by less dense bones. These then become more prone for easy fractures as they are very fragile. Doing the best at this moment puts you in the best place for the next moment. I'm quoting Oprah Winfrey. And now, these are my recommendations on health screenings based on guidelines issued by various OBS and GYN associations of the US, UK and India. However, do consult your doctor for individualization of care. Between the ages of 13 to 21 years, do check a BMI yearly, a blood pressure at least once, hemoglobin, sugars, cholesterols, a thyroid testing at least once. See that standard immunizations are done. Also recommended is immunization against cancer of the cervix, which is by a HPV vaccine and can be given to girls after the age of 12. Health screening between the ages of 22 to 39 years are as below. BMI, that is body weight, checking should be done yearly. A blood pressure, hemoglobin, sugar, cholesterol, thyroid test can be done intermittently or opportunistically, meaning if you go to a doctor for any other health issue, they may choose to get these tests also done for you. A pelvic examination as required can be done if at all you report to a gynecologist. A sonography of the whole abdomen can be done as required, as and when you go to a doctor for any issue which actually requires the test. A pap smear, which is the screening test for cervical cancer, is recommended every 3 years till the age of 65. However, in India, we often land up doing it opportunistically, meaning a patient doesn't really come for regular screenings, but when she does land up with the gynac will take the opportunity to advise them the pap smear. Mammography is normally not done at this age. However, if a patient is in a very high risk category, they may be advised a mammography after the age of 30. After the age of 40, we advise that you continue to check your BMI yearly, do basic blood tests every 5 years or annually if the tests were previously abnormal. A pap smear should be done every 3 years till the age of 65. A mammography should be done at least once by the age of 45 if the patient is in an average risk group. Bone mineral density needs to be done only if the patient is in a high risk group, which means that either they are menopausal, smoker, they have a history of a fracture after a very trivial trauma, suffering from rheumatoid arthritis, or maybe they are taking medications which are known to cause bone loss, or they lead a very sedentary lifestyle. After the age of 50, it is advisable to check your BMI yearly, to check your blood tests, your blood pressure, and a cardiogram, which is an ECG, yearly. A pap smear should be done once every 3 years till the age of 65. I recommend that a pelvic examination with a gynecologist and a sonography be done every 3 years. If not done till the age of 50, a mammography is recommended at least once for all women, and then it can continue at a rate of say between 1 to 3 years. Different countries have different recommendations. Bone mineral density testing need not be done at 50, but can be done if the patient is in a high risk category. There are no set guidelines on how frequently pelvic examinations and ultrasounds are required after menopause, or say after the age of 50. However, I feel since the patient is going for a pap smear anyways, it would be a good time to do a proper pelvic examination and to advise on a sonography, because both these things help pick up uterine cancers and cancers of the ovary. Cancers of the ovary very often don't have any symptoms and are not detected by the patient until they are far advanced. On attaining the age of 65, it is imperative to do a bone mineral density testing at least once. But thankfully, a pap smear need not be done if there are at least 3 normal pap smears in the last 10 years. Very often, a patient phones me and says, "Doctor, I'm afraid to come out because of COVID. Can I skip my screenings?" My answer is, if it is a routine scheduled screening, a 6-month delay may be okay. A bone mineral densitometry can wait up to 1 year. Till then, it would be good to check out the COVID-19 preparedness of the test providers. And I tell patients that whenever they go, they should remain masked for their own safety. As I said before, self-awareness is very important. There are some do not ignore symptoms. That means don't ignore it and push it on the back burner, but do contact your doctor and take advice from them. Symptoms such as missed irregular periods, unusual discharges, bleeding after intercourse, bleeding after menopause, seeing blood in the urine or stools, a lump in the breast, in the armpit or anywhere else, nipple discharge, abnormal and new bloating of the abdomen or unusual pains in the abdomen, unexplained weight loss, fatigue, or shortness of breath are symptoms that you must not ignore and you must get medical advice at the earliest. For pregnant patients, my advice would be do not skip any checkups. Please go for all tests the way you would have in pre-COVID days. Some health concerns are not urgent. Seeking care is need-based as per the patient's requirement. A patient can check out the teleconsultation facility which their doctor offers, and if they feel that they do need to go to the doctor's office, they can just see whether mask discipline is being enforced, distancing is kept in the waiting area and in the consulting room, whether there is avoidance of closed spaces, adequate ventilation, and good sanitization. So now I've explained how you can help yourself, how your doctor can help you, and now I'll give you a few pointers on the relevance of vaccination for COVID-19 in women. As everybody knows, now the vaccine is available in India. There are two. One is the Covishield and the other is Covaxin. Many will choose to take it and many won't. However, the vaccine can affect the scheduling of your normal screening tests. So that is what I would like to tell you. The effect of COVID-19 vaccination on a mammography. The vaccine is known to cause occasional swelling of the lymph nodes or glands. These could be in the underarms, around the neck, or even inside the abdomen. While doing a mammography, if these swellings are picked up, they will appear to be of concern and lead to unnecessary fear of cancer. So, a routine screening mammography should be done prior to the first dose of the vaccine or 6 weeks after the second dose. This gives a chance for any lymph node swelling to settle down. Anybody wanting to go for a routine screening ultrasound should also do it prior to taking the vaccination, as again any swollen lymph nodes will confuse the diagnosis. However, remember, if there are symptoms, no tests, either a mammography or a sonography, should be postponed. So what about COVID-19 vaccination and pregnancy? Presently, both the Covishield and the Covaxin are not recommended for use during pregnancy or the breastfeeding period. However, if a pregnancy does occur after the first dose has been taken, the second dose should be postponed till after the delivery is done and the breastfeeding period is over. Once vaccination is done, there is no need to defer planning a conception. Pregnancy can be planned without any concerns. So that brings me to the end of my talk. As Marie Curie has said, nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more, so that we may fear less. Thank you for being with me today, friends. Here's to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, may we raise them. Thank you.